In 2008, in March, our younger son Terrell, he was at school one day and he got sick. He came home and we thought it was a flu, and his symptoms just got progressively worse, and then one evening he stopped breathing and was in the hospital a couple of days and passed away. In that moment, it sort of like grounded me in the work that I do now to continue to allow him to live. I played basketball in high school. I love basketball, so through that, Terrence loved basketball, Terrell loved basketball. So that's sort of like how it was founded, in those roots.
They started doing the little basketball camp, and they were under a tree. And it was just the TCG basketball camp at first, just for them to come and just be able to do something. And then it started to grow, and he was like, he's gonna do like a nonprofit. I'm thinking, all right.
I reached out to Kennedy High School and asked if they had availability in the summer. We initially started in the gym, and we ended up outdoors, but that was the start of the Terrell, Chrispher, Gladney Memorial Basketball Academy. And then with it being the Basketball Academy, we started like 3 days a week, but in addition to basketball, decided that the other sort of foundational element would be conversations about life, right? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Bringing in people within my network to be guest speakers. I knew that it couldn't just be basketball. I knew that basketball had to be the hook. So we had to provide additional access for kids. And as we continue forward, more people heard about it through the scholars that I had there, through parents, and we ended up with kids that just weren't basketball players. Some kids play football, some play baseball, some just wanted access to a program in the summer. One of the foundational elements for me was that, especially if it was going to be in Terrell's memory, was that it was free. I didn't want to provide any obstacles to kids being able to have access to a high quality program. And as we continue each year, we got, again, just different kids from different walks of life. Most of them rooted here in the Kennedy feeder system, but we also got kids through word of mouth from Elk Grove and other areas. And through the kids is actually how we continue to develop the curriculum. Just being responsive to the needs of the kids and their feedback on what was working well and what wasn't. With my love of basketball, obviously my sons inherited that, but as time sort of progressed, Terrence Jr.'s love became track and field. And not only that, he was far more talented in track and field than he was in basketball. So with his transition to that, I found a way to sort of bridge the work we're doing here in the program with his aspirations. So I created a track club, and that's how Legion of Zoom Track Club came to be. And the first year, he was able to go and compete in the AAU Junior Olympics, and our younger scholars were able to sort of compete with him on his journey. Get ready to go, Dre! And the environment that we created, it created a pipeline for our Kennedy athletes to come through, to where they saw Terrence's success and they saw an opportunity to continue something that they loved doing during the school year. They could do it in the summer. So with Terrence and some of his graduating cohort, we had multiple athletes compete at the Division II level. Terrence is a two-time conference champion. Our first cohort of scholars being Destin and Terrence and Amina, they have gone on to do marvelous things, and now they're coming back as leaders, as college graduates, as coaches for some of our track athletes.
My main objective working with these younger kids is obviously to just, pass down my knowledge and experience to them and help them in any way I can, whether that's block starts or how to, meal prep for a meet or helping them mentally prepare before a race. Having ran track for 10 plus years at, multiple different levels, I still feel mentally I'm very fresh in the sport, so I have a lot to offer for these younger kids, especially since for the older kids, I am a lot closer to their age than my dad or, somebody else.
Most of our kids have matriculated through these doors and walked these hallways as students, and as they've done so, they've been able to return, and we've always kept an approach of where the youngest kids have visibility to older kids so they can see what's possible.
The Academy is more focused around an overall experience. We like to call them scholars because we are teaching them things that will help them to become great people. It's not just physical activities, so I like to call it it's a nice balance.
Well, my involvement started off as a scholar when I was very young. I started off as just one of the youth scholars in the camp when it very first started, and I worked my way up to the mentorship spot. The academic part of the academy is a big part, especially during summer. A lot of the kids, they're looking to, just ditch everything that they probably learned during school, are just looking for, most fun, as kids are always trying to do, just have the most fun. So I think that's what really motivates them to learn more, and it kind of ensures that they are getting some of the academic in.
There's not a whole lot of these programs out there. And he has a multitude of kids, 25 probably to 50. The interaction, the one-on-one relationships he has is amazing.
It's also just been a blessing to have such a great community of parents and just a great community. And just through asking, we've been able to partner and receive support from many, many, many different organizations and individuals. We've had board member Christina Pritchett come and speak with the kids. One of my Cal classmates, Jason Jones, who's a former beat writer for the Sacramento Kings. So they just do it just because they love kids as much as we do. And I think that it mirrors the growth and development of our program.
It's good to know that you are having a place that you can always come to that you're familiar with. It hasn't changed. There's no turnover in the site. So his relationships that he's built through the school system is something to be admired as well, because as a parent, you don't want to have to take your child here and there, but having a place that they know that that's their home, base, it's helpful to them as well.
It's good that the camp is here because a lot of kids that are gonna end up coming to this school that have already been through the camp, and you can kind of break the ice with a lot of the kids and a lot of the peers you're going to be meeting in high school. So the camp is kind of like a little hub for all of us to come during the summer. And I have a younger sister right under me. She's going to be going to college. She graduates tomorrow. And I can't even describe it. It's been crazy just to see some of them grow up.
My daughter does track. Genesis is one of the students that went through his program and will be going to Cal State Bakersfield in the fall. So that part of the program is that, you can see that it actually is something that's attainable.
Teaching these young kids the fundamentals is very important. I didn't actually start running track until, 7th grade. There's a lot of younger kids out here that are like, range from, 6 to 12, so they're starting off a lot younger than I ever did. So definitely teaching them the fundamentals is very important because it will help them develop and mature a lot faster than probably the average kid that is just walking on in middle school or high school, whatever. So it's definitely going to help them down the road. They're going to have a lot more experience and, and a lot more mental wisdom in terms of how to do things.
So through the work that we put in early on, we've been able to grow that platform, and just through them seeing what's possible, they're now creating even larger dreams or bigger dreams for the kids that are coming behind them. And I think that for a lot of our kids in the academy and some that we have not reached yet, that's sort of the stigma that's been placed on them, is that they're easy to discard. But what I've learned or been reminded of is that we can take those pieces and build something great. When you're taking different elements and putting them together, you can strengthen things together. And that's what I'm trying to do with our scholars, right? Bring kids from different schools, from different neighborhoods that at some point in life are going to cross paths, and building that connection right now so that when they walk into a Kennedy High School, they're not one of 2,000 students. So that's the work that we're doing, is just extending out our branches. And our mantra that actually is created by the mentors a few years ago is have fun, learn, and grow. I added the component of reseeding because I'm seeing it through their work now as they come back and are part of strengthening and building that next generation of mentors so that we can continue to have this legacy move forward and extend Terrell's legacy and honor him.